Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Tips and Tricks Tuesday, and of course we are still working on our colored pencil 101, and we're working on this wonderful picture by Jane Madej out of Adorable Animals Grayscale coloring book. What we're going through is how to color in grayscale and get the best results. Make sure that your colors pop a little bit better than just a straight color into grayscale. So last Tuesday we colored the yellow flowers. Today I want to try to get as many of the flowers done as possible. I want to at least get all of the greenery stuff done. I have picked out several colors and sharpened them all up, so I'm not going to have to sharpen unless I break a pencil, which is possible. Of course, I have my wonderful blending stick there, although on grayscale I don't like to blend with a blending stick. I prefer to make sure that I blend with the colored pencils. Also have my eraser here. I do have an electric eraser as well if I need it. I don't like using those on grayscale either because it does erase the grayscale. I think I'm all set. What do you guys think? So far, so good. We're going to color these ones here a lovely purple. And these ones are going to be in the pinks. And then we've got some yellows and browns here and some whites with a little bit of yellow here. And of course the greens for the greenery, the leaves and all that fun stuff. These berries here are going to be a purplish color, I do believe. Actually they're green. Okay, so they're going to be a greenish color, which is fine because I've got lots of greens out too. So I'm just going to unhook this, and just 1 second here. I gotta change something here. Hopefully. I want that to do that. Okay, so we're going to switch on over to the close-up camera, and I'm going to turn on the light so that we can see what we're doing. And I'm going to, there we go. Okay. I'm actually going to turn on some music. I got some new music in, so this is a little bit more funky than my regular soft tone music. So I'll keep it low so I'm not yelling over it. But I felt like having a bit of a funk today, so there we go. All right, so let's get started on these wonderful little purple flowers. And we have 3 different purples here that we're going to be working with. We have, I do believe, hold on a sec, I'll just make sure I've got these right. Of course, I've got my wonderful color chart here. Yes, so I've got spinel red, I have purple, and rose pink. So the spinel red is a light pinky purple color. The rose pink is a bit of a darker pinky purple color, and the purple is a darker purple color. So those are the 3 that we're going to be working with. So I'm going to start with the darkest of the colors, which is purple, and we're going to go right around the edges here. I hope everybody had a wonderful day yesterday. I was able to get out at least my breaking news, well, my news update video out yesterday. I hope you guys all liked that. I was really impressed with the King Art Company, and the pencils aren't as bad as I thought they were, and I was actually quite impressed. So So hopefully you can all see that. I might have to bring you in a little bit. Let's zoom you in a touch, just so that You can see what I'm doing there. And we'll move you over that way. There we go. And now hopefully my hand doesn't get in the way because you know how that goes. So I'm just going through and I'm just putting in the dark shadow areas with this purple. Don't go too overboard with it. You can add more later. And it's a lot easier to add than take away. Now, of course, I am using the Artilicious colored pencils. Artlicious, not Artalicious. It's Artlicious. And they are a very soft pencil. So make sure that you layer. Otherwise, you're going to end up mashing your pencil. Now, they're not so soft that I'm losing the tip, which is great. But they are a lot softer than most of my pencils because most of my pencils are an oil base. And I do believe that these are a wax base, although they feel really smooth. And I'm not getting any wax bloom. This is from last week and there's no wax buildup, no wax bloom on it, which is great. I really like these pencils. And they do go down really nicely. Now I'm not being overly cautious of where I'm putting or how much I'm putting down. I'm just making sure that I've got a good base layer down in all of the really dark areas. So just watch where you're going and make sure that it's a darker area, not a medium dark area or a light area. Okay. And of course, there's going to be some darker petals and some light petals because of the movement of the plant. All right. Now hopefully, oh, I'll move that down for you. Sorry guys. See, I noticed it this time. I'm getting better. And just, like I always say while I'm doing things, I constantly turn my pencil just to keep that edge fairly sharp. If you turn your pencil, you don't have to sharpen it as much. It gives you the ability to sharpen it. Well, it's basically sharpening that edge, or controlling that edge, making sure that it gives you a good sharp point as you go along. I'm just going back through, making sure that I didn't miss any. And of course I did down here at the bottom. All right. I think next time I'm going to have to choose a longer song. I like the beat of this one, but it's not quite long enough. And of course, YouTube says you can only use certain music, so that's what I use. Okay, so now I've got the rose pink, which is a bit darker, of a light pink, pinky purple color. So this is more of a red violet kind of color. And I'm just going into those. And of course, you can use whatever purples you have or whatever purples you want to use. I was actually hoping there would be a couple more, lilac and that kind of colors, because, that's what we're coloring. Some of those, more floral colors. But unfortunately, there's not, so we will make do. And of course, I could have grabbed them from other sets. It's not like I don't have like 2 other sets in that bag. But I like to keep the colors from the same set. Like when I color, I prefer to only use one set at a time. I'm not one for mixing and matching. And it's just because I'm lazy. It's not because it's a bad thing to do. It's just I'm lazy. And to pull out more than one set of pencils is just a little bit more than I want to do. Alright, now we're going to move up a little bit. And like I said, if you find that your dark purple is starting to get taken over by the lighter colors, you can definitely go back in there and readjust it and add a little bit more dark. Because the light colors will take over the dark colors if you don't adjust them. I know this is probably not all that interesting to y'all, but but that's what you're here for, is to learn how to color in grayscale. So basically I'm just going over all the medium areas with this color. And if I find that it blends into the dark areas too much, I will, like I said, go over the dark areas, which I will probably do 2 or 3 times because, oh, I missed one. Because I have to go over them with the light colors as well. And like I said, these are a building pencil, so it's better to work your way up on your layers. So you put down one layer and you add all your other colors and then put down another layer. And you do that over and over until you find the right balance for what you want. And that's called coloring. So I'm just going to go through with the dark again. Now this is just purple. It's not blue violet or anything like that. It's just straight purple. And I'm just going through and I'm just a little bit heavier of a hand now. Not a really heavy hand, just a little bit heavier than the last time. Just to fill in the little gaps. Try not to go over top of your medium color too much. You're just trying to blend into it. Make sure that your dark colors are popping a bit. Making sure that you can see those shadows. Because these little petals are actually curved. It's sort of like a little cup. So what we're doing is we're putting that edge so that when you put the light on it, it will look like a curl. It'll have that dimension that you want. And I'm not trying to make everything completely perfect right out the gate, because no matter what you do, especially with grayscale, it's not going to look great until you're finished. Because with all the gray around it, it doesn't look the way it should. So don't fuss with it too much, because until you have the backing areas done, you know, of course, put in your colors the way you would want your colors to be in there. But don't worry about it looking a little bit gray until after you've put in all your other colors. If it still looks a little gray, a little more gray than you want after you've put all your colors in, then go back through and add a little bit more color or whatever you want to do to remedy that. The reason why I say that is because with all of the gray around it, it doesn't look cohesive. It doesn't look like it's done. So if you make sure that you put in the color that you want on the area that you're in, and it still looks blah, it's just because of the fact that there's a lot more gray around it. So make sure that you don't fuss too much with the gray. Okay, so now we're going to take our medium again. And like I said, we're just building it up. The light I'm going to do last because, and I'm only going to do a couple of light layers because it needs to be really light just to show the edges of the flowers. Just blending it all together with the pencils. Like I said, I don't like using a blender pencil if I can avoid it, especially on grayscale, just because it will lift up some of the grayscale if you're not careful, depending upon what blender you use. Now, another thing that we're going to learn with this Colored Pencils 101 is I'm going to actually, at some point, pull down one of my really dark grayscales, and I'm going to show you how to best color that with colored pencils and blending solutions instead of a blending pencil, because I have found that with coloring on a dark grayscale, if you use your blending pencil, you're going to find that, sorry, I didn't realize I was out of screen. You're going to find that your grayscale is bleeding into your colored pencil, and it will not look nice. Okay, so I'm going very, very lightly with this spinel red. And if I find that it's way too bright, I will go over it with cream and tone it down a little bit. And I think it's a little too bright, but it's not bad. You guys can barely see it. But this is just the first layer, so. And it's got a purple tinge to it, so it's picking up that purple color really nicely, which is good. Just making sure that I've got that all the way out to the edges. I noticed earlier when I actually, got up close to the picture that I may have missed some white spots on the flowers, so I went over them and made sure that I didn't miss them. So make sure that you're looking closely, because something you may think is something else is actually a part of the flower. And you'll be coloring along on a different area and go, oh, no, that's a part of the flower. I do it all the time. It's a normal thing. Alright. Not quite liking this pinky color, but it'll be fine. It's just a little bit brighter than I expected it to be. But like I said, live and learn. It didn't look this bright on my swatch. I haven't used this color yet in any coloring, so that's the great thing about new pencils, is sometimes it takes a couple of pictures just to memorize the colors and the tones, because every pencil set has different colors and different tones. They all may say they're the same, but depending upon manufacturer, the tone may be different. You know, unless it's a completely identical set. And then we know there's lots of those out there. All right. I think it's looking okay. Like I said, later on, I'm just going to leave it with this coloring, and later on when we get deeper into the picture, if I find that it's too bright still and isn't cohesive with the other things on the page, or is too matchy-matchy with this, I may go over it with some ivory or some cream just to tone it down a little bit, or even some white just to tone down that pinky color a little bit. And I'm trying not to go over the center areas because I don't want to tone that down at all, because I want that to be a dark purple color. The only ones I'm going into the center with are the ones that have a little bit of a light area in the center. And just use a fairly light hand. Excuse me, guys. I think I need more coffee this morning. All right. Make sure you're still in frame. It's the one thing about going into close-up mode is I get concentrating on what I'm doing, and I don't see where the camera is because, you know, it looks to me like it's right over top of where I'm coloring. But because I have it on close-up, it's actually zoomed into a small area. So if I don't look at the screen and check on where you guys are in view, I end up going out of view. Alright, so we're going to take our purple again, and we're just going to darken that up a little bit. Just in the areas that we may have made it too light. Now, of course, most paper doesn't like too many layers, and this paper, of course, isn't horrible. It's not it's a lot better than most coloring book papers, but I'm finding that some areas just don't want to accept any more color, which is weird because I've never had that problem with these books before. And I'm going to fix that area there a little bit. Just going to brighten it up a little. I know I'm spending too much time on this plant, but I think what we'll do is we'll do I'll do one or two of the carnations, and then we will move on and do parts of the greens and stuff like that, just to make sure that we get as much as possible done on camera, so that I can show you different areas. Alright, so that's going to be done for now. I will do the green down the center at some point as well. So we have these here, which are a type of carnation, and we're going to do that in these wonderful pinks. So we've got pink, hot pink, and cream. So these are the colors that we're going to be using on this flower. So I'm just going to do a couple of them, and then we will move on to these ones over here, and then we'll do a couple of bits of greenery. I know it's haphazard. I really don't like bouncing around like that, but it takes me a long time to do things, especially color. And I don't want you guys to have to, just sit and watch me color. I can do that if I'm chatting with y'all and whatnot, and I have actually strongly considered taking my 101 Tuesdays 101 classes and doing them live, so you guys can ask questions and whatnot. My only issue with that is I get concentrating on what I'm doing, and I forget to look up for the chat. And then it takes twice as long because I gotta go back through and read all the chat. So on this center area here where it's a really dark color, I've taken the hot pink, and I'm just coloring in that really dark color with the hot pink. Now you can go down into the darker areas as well. You can even go around the edges here with that hot pink. Just be careful when doing around the edges that you don't get too deep into an area that you're going to color a really light color, because it will bleed into it or move into it. Make sure that you put your hot pink in the areas of shadow where those petals are overlapping. I'm just going through and putting in a few of the veins. And of course going over the areas that are darker. And then we're going to take our pink and we're going to do this top part. And we're just going to blend that down into that hot pink and bring that hot pink and pink together. Now if you find that you've done an area and it doesn't look like you've done the area, like for example this area here, I know I've gone over it, but I only went over it once. So it's actually showing a lot more of the grayscale through than I want it to. So I'm just going to go over it again, just with a slightly heavier hand, just to get that hot pink to show as hot pink, not as a gray pink. And of course, if you've gone over an area with your lighter color and it's washed out your darker color, you can always go over it. Just make sure when you're putting down your layers that you do a light layer. I'm doing a fairly medium weight to the center area here because no other color is going to go there. So I'm not going to have to readjust that at any point other than making it darker. And sometimes you can only do that by adding a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And that's one of the reasons why grayscales take longer for me to do, is because I'm constantly readjusting the colors to make sure that I have it looking like it is a line art and taking advantage of that grayscale to show me where the shadows are, not to do the shadows for me, but to show me where the darker colors are going to be, where the shadows are, where the bends in the plant and the flowers are going to be. But if you look at a grayscale with, oh, I just need to use one color, the shadows are already there, it tends to look a little bit flatter, as I showed you on that flower there. But if you build up your colors and work that way, you end up with the ability to see where each of those lines are, where each of those bends in the plant is. And it just makes it look so much more realistic. Looks like it's climbing out the page on you, which is really cool. Alright, now the center part here I'm going to do with this cream color. And I'm going to take some of this pink and I'm going to go into that cream with it. Just a little bit, just to make that a pinky color. because I didn't have a really pale pink in this set, other than peachy colors, and I didn't want to use a peachy color. Now, of course, you could do this with white as well, but I wanted that little bit of cream color in there. I'm just going to drag that brighter pink down a little. And what I'll do is I will go through and I'll finish up, hopefully finish up all the floral stuff before next Tuesday, and show you what I mean by, sometimes it just means taking a little bit more time and going over things a few times just to make sure that you have your dimensions, make sure that you have your dark areas and your light areas done. With enough color to make it look like a really good flower. Okay, so we've got one of those flowers done. We've got the purple ones done. We're going to move on over to these ones. And these ones here are going to be a dark yellow as well as a light yellow. Let's see, so we've got yellow, canary yellow, and then we've got a couple of browns as well that are going to go into this one. So I'm going to put the purples over here because we're done with those. So I'm going to start with the darker brown. And we're just going to try to keep you in screen. Now I don't want this to dominate that dark area. I just want it to show up. And that's why I'm not getting really deep with it, because the yellows, I want the yellows to be dominant and the browns to be very close to the center area, because this is going to be the brown. Okay, now we're going to take this dark yellow and we're just going to drag that brown out a little bit. Now I'm just going to take a little bit more brown there. And sometimes you just have to adjust your coloring and your blending. I'm just going to add a little bit more of this brown here. just little by little. Just build it up. Bet you thought I missed that one, huh? I didn't. Now I am leaving the edges so that I can go over them with that light yellow and brighten up the entire flower. Now I'm just going to add a little bit more brown down here. I'm trying to make sure I go in the right directions with it. Now this center area is going to be different browns, so I'm not worried about it getting into that center area, because basically it's going to be this color anyway. So just going through and making sure I have all that dark yellow areas done up, because there's a lot more dark yellow areas than there is light yellow. So make sure that you don't leave too much in the way of open space. Alright, now we're going to take our Peru, which is a medium light brown color, and we're just going to fill in those little areas. Where we have a bit of a shadow. And that sort of thing. And basically extending that brown into the yellow just gradually. Making sure that you get the edges. Okay, I'm going to turn the picture here so I can get to this edge here. Ooh. Poop. I pressed too hard. Now I am going to have to sharpen that one because I need it to have a good point. Be careful you don't press too hard. Alright, so I'm going to sharpen this one because I do need that point. Okay. And then we're just going to go back through and make sure we brighten up those darker yellow areas. Okay, now we're going to take this yellow, which is canary yellow, and we're going to go through and we're just going to finish it off. Okay. Now for the center part of the flower, let's just wake this area up here. On your center area of your flower, you're probably thinking, what do I do with that? Do I just leave it? Do I just color the little tippies there? What do I do with that? Well, what I do with that is I take my darker browns, and I think I need a bit of a darker brown here. Let's see. I think I want... Oh, those are all reds. I don't want reds. I want browns. Yeah, I think I'm going to take saddle brown or even the black. Actually, we're just going to go with the black. And at the bottom here, you just take your black and you fill it in. Try to get in between the areas that are the darkest. And just completely fill in those really, really dark areas. And yes, this is a tedious thing to do, but if you do this part, when you go to add your colors for the little tippies that are sticking out, which are usually a lighter brown, it will look a lot better than if you were just to color the entire thing one color. And it'll look like it's standing up a little bit more. And yes, you could have just left it just that black, but as you can probably see between the two, this one here is a lot darker and looks a lot more dimensional than that one. Okay, now we're going to take our saddle brown and we're just going to go over. I need to sharpen it. That point is definitely not sharp enough. Now hopefully I don't break it. And I'm just going to go over the gray areas, not the black areas, the gray areas with this bit of brown. Leaving some of those white areas open. Then I'll go back in with a little bit more black down here. And then we're going to take our lighter brown, which is our Peru, and we're just going to finish off those white areas. And you can do this with yellow or, any color that would represent the pollen areas. You can do it with yellow or orange, but for this flower, I like this color combination. Alright, so those are those flowers. And I'll finish the other one the same way. Now for these flowers here, these are just straight white daisies. And with straight white daisies, what we're going to do is we're going to take our light gray and our Peru brown. I just got to sharpen up this light gray. Now, you're sitting there going, okay, well, why use light gray and white? And why not just leave them the way they are? And the reason being is if you add the colors, it brightens them up enough that they stand out. And look dimensional. Yeah, you could just add the yellow in the center there, or you could change the color of the flowers, whatever you want to do. I'm following the coloration that the artist used in hers. Of course, you don't have to do that. You color it any way that you want to color it. There is no law on how to color this. I am only following the artist's rendition because I want to show you the colors that she used in order to create this grayscale. And some of my colors aren't the same as hers. Some of them, because I don't know what pencils she used. If I did know that, I'd probably be able to actually do it identical to her coloration, but because I don't have that information, makes it a little bit more difficult. Alright, so I've got the Peru brown here, and I'm just putting a little touch of brown very, very gently at the very, very tip down by the pollen area and into some of these shadow areas. And we're just going to color the dark area with this Peru brown. And then we're going to take our jasmine, which is a really light yellow, and we're going to blend that in and just go a little bit out with the jasmine. Like I said, this is a very, very light yellow. And it will get taken over by the white when I go over it with the white. I'm just extending out those little brown areas that I've put in. Make sure that they get pushed all the way out so that when I go over it with the white, because I have a tendency of pushing really hard with a white pencil. I don't know why. I think it's just because I can't see it. And I end up pushing too hard, and then I can't move anything. So I always do the white pencil the very last. Now I need the gray. And that's the stem there. So okay, so then we're just gonna put in a little tiny bit more of this yellow. Like I said, I'm just going right around the very edges here. And then I'm going to take this brighter yellow. So this is canary. No, I don't want canary. This is mimosa. And we're just going to fill in the very, very center with that mimosa. Blend it into that brown. Now mimosa is also a really light yellow. It's not as light as the jasmine, but it is a fairly light yellow, as you probably remember from the yellow flowers. And then we are taking our white and we're going to fill in the rest of the flower. Now, if you find that your Prisma white works really well and you enjoy using it for making things really bright white, you can definitely use it. I think the white in here works just fine. And once you finish up the rest of the picture, you will be able to see the white a lot better. Okay, so there we have it. Now we're going to take a look at it and see what we've done today. I'm going to switch over to the main camera and throw whatever that was on the floor. Okay, so, and we're going to turn this off so you can actually see the colors. So we've done a daisy and a, oh, what is the name of this flower? I just had it. I can't remember. I think Black-Eyed Susan. So we have another daisy and a Black-Eyed Susan to do, and we did the yellow flowers on last Tuesday. We did a pink carnation and the jasmine there, or the lilac, sorry. And we will finish the other stem of lilac. We will do all the rest of the carnations and the rest of these flowers. And then when we come back, we'll do up the greenery. So while between now and next Tuesday, I will finish off the flowers that we've started. When we come back, we'll do all the greenery and work on the background a little bit, because that's greenery, and possibly the tin can. Not positive on that. We will see how it goes. I know that these things take a long time, and I appreciate that you have all joined me and are willing to hang out with me while I color these wonderful things. Hopefully I'm able to teach you something and show you how I do things, and it helps you out. Of course, this is just how I do things. This is not, I'm not an expert in any sense of the word. I am not the best at anything. This is the best way I know how to do it, and I have learned from other people. So I just want to throw that out there, that I am glad and I am happy to show you the things that I have learned as I've gone through my coloring journey. I will not ever say that I am an expert at any of it. I will say that I've learned a few things and I am happy to pass those along. So if you are joining me for the first time, please know that all of these things were learned through trial and error and other YouTube videos. So I have been where you are, and hopefully I will be able to show you how to get from where you are to where I am. And where I am is not expert level, but it is with a little bit firmer of an understanding of what I'm doing. I'm not positive all the time, but it does give me a little bit firmer understanding of where I am. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this wonderful Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Hopefully I was able to show you how to do some coloring on florals for your picture and how to do those layering effects and give the dimension that you want to your flowers. Of course, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I only need about 42 new subscribers to hit 1,000. And of course, when we do hit that 1,000, of course, we are going to celebrate. So please, please, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you enjoy the videos. I do put out at least one video every day, sometimes two, sometimes three. I do go live on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Wednesday for my work in progress Wednesday, and Saturday for my Saturday color and chat. So hopefully you guys can join me for those. I do really enjoy talking to everybody and finding things out, and just hanging out, having a chat. If you want to join me over on Facebook, I do have a Facebook group. Of course, you can do that by hitting the description in the link in the description below. There we go. Words are hard. Um, so please, if you want to join us, fill out the application form, and one of my administration team or myself will be happy to get you in there as quickly as possible. We do ask that you fill out the application. Because we don't accept anybody that doesn't. It's a protection for our members to ensure that their pictures are well protected from scams and that sort of thing. Also, any affiliate links that I've listed below for the Artlicious or the coloring book are Amazon links. I am an Amazon affiliate, and I do receive a small commission for anything purchased through those links. So please use the links. It does help out the channel quite a bit on contests and content. So if you want more new content or prizes for our contests, give me a helping hand and hit one of the links and purchase through the link. Of course, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. And of course, I will try to make sure that I will be on time tomorrow, because tomorrow is Work in Progress Wednesday, and we are going to continue with our picture that we started on Saturday. This one here I am reserving only for Tuesdays, so I'll only be using that one on Tuesdays because, lessons. So we will be working on this gorgeous picture on Wednesday, and I'm hoping to get her all done up and the butterflies all done up so that on Saturday we can work on the background, which I intend on doing in heaven help me, oil pastels. I'm praying very hard that I don't mess it up, but we've got the branches still to do, and we have this beautiful little girl to do, and some wonderful little butterflies. The little divots there I will do in liquid pearls. So, okay, so yeah, that's what we're going to be working on tomorrow. And that is from Forest Girls Coloring Book Premium Edition. And we are, of course, doing that with Blick Studios colored pencils. Okay, I think that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I have had a wonderful time doing this, and I hope you have as well. All right, guys, bye-bye for now.